Defne Koryürek dalla Turchia e poi Edward Mutibi dall'Uganda per l'ultimo intervento.
Good morning. I come from Istanbul. According to my dear Sylvia, who has been hosting me here in Turin, I come from the umbilical hole of the world. Istanbul, the home of Bosphorus. Istanbul, the biological corridor for the bluefish, for the palamuti, for the alice. Istanbul, the home of my daughter, Refika. I come from Istanbul, a city that has quadrupled in population in less than 40 years. Istanbul, a city, today, nobody feels responsible for. No, not anymore. Istanbul, a city whose inhabitants takes her now for granted. A city filled with innovative consumers. I come from a city that embraces us still with great conviviality. I come from Istanbul, where the beloved mackerel is now gone extinct, and so has the words. All those words that once described the food, they are all but gone now. The food, the tradition, along with the knowledge. I come from a city where the kids no longer buy their breads from a bread maker. A city where fish get smaller and smaller for the fishermen under the pressure of a huge debt, overfish to overcome. I come from a city where the underground rivers have dried due to excessive urbanization, and now the water needs to be brought from far and away places through pipelines. Whose water that is? Nobody cares. I come from a city, the city of Istanbul, where the tiny strawberries of fields overlooking the Bosphorus are the sepia stories that don't belong to our time. I come from a city that no child knows the pleasure anymore of crack opening a pine nut shell with black, dirty hands. And this, of course, is a city now full with people that think the dolma belongs only to them, but are not even capable of recognizing a nut-bearing pine tree. I come from Istanbul. I come from a city where every home is one room small and every bank account is 1 month short. I come from Istanbul, a city where there is no value that people can place against wealth and also have no will to understand sufficiency. I come from Istanbul, the umbilical hole of the world. And day after day, I hear her die. And there's this seed, this tiny seed. This seed is 12,500 years old. This is the seed that made us build civilizations. This is wheat, the most ancient wheat, as far as we can say. And this wheat seed, this tiny wheat seed, is the umbilical cord of the world. This tiny wheat seed is the culture we built. This tiny wheat seed is the ground we built our communities upon, traditions, civilizations. This little seed is the umbilical cord. This little seed, this CS wheat, comes from İhsan Gazi, Kastamonu. Her, I rather call this seed a she, her cultivators of İhsan Gazi use a word I never hear in Istanbul. Enough, they say. Enough, they say, to describe the bulgur they make, and they share it. Enough, they say, happily to describe the bits and pieces left behind in the mill and feed their chicken. Enough, they say, to describe the hay and they feed their milking cows. It is not enough, you say, looking at the yields. And they invite you to the table and feed you. Enough, they say, for they already know what the rest of the world forgot long ago. Enough is what keeps this world running. Enough is the key for giving. Enough is the key to share. And enough is this seed. Mother Nature spent 12,500 years in making this seed. And this seed is what feeds us, rain or shine. This is a seed resilient to drought and disasters and diseases. This is the seed that feeds the men, the women, the children, the chicken, the cow, and even a God-sent visitor just passing by. This is the seat of conviviality. This is the seat of plenty. This is the seat that gives the fullest of smiles. This is the seat of enough. This is the umbilical cord of the world. This is our first presidio. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Taylor. This seat is our future.
Grazie.